technology, phones, computers. These are just some of the words you may hear in today's video. Apple's upcoming iPhone 17 lineup could include an iPhone Air, according to insider Mark Gurman, not to be confused with Mark Merman, the aquatic humanoid that's squatting in my pool. I've had enough. Gurman suggests the iPhone Air will be Apple's latest attempt at trying to sell an iPhone model that isn't just the iPhone Pro, or the iPhone Pro Max, because the company definitely wasn't already struggling to come up with more than two options.
What's more than Pro?
Pro Max Extra. The phone concept was also discussed 2 weeks ago by John Prosser of Front Page Tech. According to Prosser, the rumored thickness for the slim iPhone 17 is just 5 millimeters. To put that in perspective, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is 8.2 millimeters thick. And I mean thick.
Dummy thick.
It's not that.
Look at the clap of its ass cheeks.
Do we need this? Meanwhile, the iPhone 16 lineup we're gonna see this fall will be boring. Sure, the action button's coming to non-pro models, and the pros might be getting another button as a camera shutter. It's just hand-me-down buttons, that's the paradigm here. But Gurman says there won't be any other truly meaningful changes, and that must be saying something when the most notable change for the 16 successor is just fat shaming. TikTok is under fire for sending news alert style notifications to advertise misinformation. According to a report from the Financial Times, these alerts have contained complete falsehoods, such as a claim that Taylor Swift called Florida racist and canceled all her tour dates there, which is why one of her recent hugely popular songs is called Florida with 3 exclamation marks. She's upset. Florida, stop! In addition to fake news, TikTok has also promoted out-of-date news. At least one user received an alert this January about a tsunami warning in Japan more than 3 weeks after the natural disaster warning had actually been issued. Several users who clicked on the notification claimed they were then led to a TikTok video from an account they don't even follow. It's not even the fake news they want.
This doesn't fit my agenda at all.
This isn't exactly good publicity for the platform, which is already facing an upcoming ban in the US if it isn't sold off by Chinese owner ByteDance. TikTok and ByteDance are also being sued by the Justice Department for violating children's privacy laws. All in all, it's a great time for TikTok. That's according to a notification I got from TikTok. Annual hacking conference DEFCON occurred this weekend, giving us an opportunity to be reminded that the technology we rely on every day is incredibly fragile and vulnerable. For example, researchers discovered hundreds of millions of AMD processors dating as far back as 2006 that suffer a major security flaw, allowing attackers to install malware virtually undetectably. While AMD is patching many of its processors, they won't be fixing chips outside of their software support window like the Ryzen 3000 series. Fortunately for those affected, the exploit is actually sort of difficult for hackers to use since it requires them to already have kernel level access to a machine. In other DEFCON news, researchers found 10 separate flaws in Google's Quick Share file transfer tool, with some allowing remote code execution on nearby Windows PCs. Fortunately, all of these vulnerabilities were reported and fixed. Thanks, hackers! Meanwhile, separate researchers got a different response when they discovered they could hack vacuum and lawnmower robots made by Ecovacs and use them to spy on their owners. The researchers say they never heard back from Ecovacs, and they believe the vulnerabilities aren't fixed. Fortunately, owners of Ecovacs devices may be able to fix the issue themselves using a common debugging tool called a baseball bat. However, if you're looking to debug your writing, you should check out our sponsor,
Grammarly. They're an AI writing partner that works where you work, so you can craft quality writing faster. And upgrading to Grammarly Premium can save you even more time thanks to useful features like strategic suggestions. Grammarly will anticipate your readers' questions and help you fill in the gaps, whether it's providing enough context or offering solutions to a problem. And with the Premium App Actions feature, you can now link Google Drive links, create tasks on Monday.com, or insert GIFs into your emails without switching tabs. Sign up and upgrade to Grammarly Premium at grammarly.com/TL08.
Okay, who's ready for quick bits? If you're not, you should probably pause the video here until you should be ready. One of Intel's next-gen Battlemage gaming GPUs has been spotted in a Linux boot-up log, as discovered by Anantech forum user Gav87, who immediately informed the police. It shouldn't be there. The single line of text in the log was noteworthy because if it's legit, it signifies an incoming mid-tier Intel Arc GPU with more and faster RAM than its predecessors, 12 gigabytes running at 19 gigabits per second. Are we as an industry finally accepting that maybe 8 gigabytes of graphics memory isn't enough? Did Intel hide this in a log as a prank before they go out of business? Good questions. Apple is forcing Patreon to exclusively use the App Store's in-app purchasing system in their iOS app, saddling all transactions with Apple's cut of 30%, or 4 times what Patreon takes on its own platform. I mean, it's only fair. You think extortion grows on trees? Thankfully, existing subscription memberships won't be affected, but creators will have to choose between absorbing the cost themselves or passing it on to their patrons for new subscriptions and purchases in the iOS app. Patreon is doing a good job explaining things in their official blog post, help articles, and CEO Jack Conte's blurry ass video. You couldn't use your 8% cut to buy a cloth to wipe your webcam? Jeez, I can barely see your earnest eyes and wiggly hands, and I want to. I actually like him, he's cool.
As a wiggly hand enthusiast.
I get where you're coming from. 2 patent infringement lawsuits filed against Bamboo Lab could have far-reaching consequences for the 3D printing hobby. We're calling it a hobby. That's a little detrimental.
Money printing little screws?
Oh, you're a professional 3D printer? Nah, that's cute. What do you do for work? US industrial 3D printer manufacturer Stratasys filed, who are just having fun. US industrial 3D printer manufacturer Stratasys filed the lawsuits, alleging that 10 of their patents have been infringed upon by Bamboo Lab. However, one of these patents is for a heated build platform, something found on only like every consumer 3D printer ever. If Stratasys somehow manages to win the case, it will be bad news, not just for 3D printing hobbyists, we did it again, but for their friends, who constantly have to hear them talk about 3D printing. What did 3D printers do to you, Jacob?
I'm the friend.
They're like the vegans of tech people. Waymo will begin testing driverless robotaxis. Waymo will begin testing. Waymo will begin testing. Stop. Okay. Waymo will begin testing driverless robotaxis on San Francisco freeways after receiving approval from California regulators back in March. The company has also begun testing the patience of software engineer Sophia Tung by renting a parking lot outside her building for their robotaxis to park/honk in at 4 a.m. every night. Naturally, Tung responded the only way a sane human being can, by setting up a 24-hour live stream of the lot featuring lo-fi hip-hop to park/honk too. Listen, she hasn't been sleeping very well. And Google Deepmind has done the unthinkable. They've created a robot that's okay at ping pong. In a paper, the organization detailed their ping pong playing robot, saying that it won 100% of its matches against beginner human players, but only 55% of matches against intermediate players. It really tried to make it sound good there for a second. Demonstrating solidly amateur human level performance. And it can do all the moves. Forehands, backhands, other hands.
Lobs?
Pops?
Bobs?
Pop shove-its?
Weaves?
It does it all, and it does it at a level deemed acceptable. And it would be more than acceptable if you came back on Wednesday for more tech news. You're a pretty good listener. And I like that about you.